For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble, jam-packed show. You know what? Let's hit the celebrity phone right now.
Celeb spotting on The Scribble.
The group was recently inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. It has a busy tour schedule this year, so it's great to have Joe Bonzel from the legendary Ridge Boys joining us on the line. Hi, Joe.
Well, thank you, Jeremy, and how you doing, man? It's good to talk to you.
I'm very good, and thanks for joining us today. So let's start out with all that I just mentioned. Country Music Hall of Fame last fall. Long overdue, I must say, don't you think?
Well, you know, some people have said that, and I got to tell you, it's just, to me, the time frame doesn't matter. What matters is what matters, man. We are in the rotunda. We're up there on the wall, and where the circle will never be broken, and where the mantra is everyone on the wall is equal. I don't know if I'll ever feel totally equal to Johnny Cash or Elvis Presley, but it's an honor to be on that wall. And like I said, I don't mind the time frame. I think them telling us last year that we were the new inductees and big press conference and the incredible ceremony last October at the Hall of Fame in Nashville was one of the greatest nights of our lives. And, you know, we have a long career, a lot of blessings. And to be in that Country Music Hall of Fame now means that, you know, long after we're gone, we'll still be there. And I think that's a big deal.
And I think, I mean, you've had such longevity in the music business. You know, we don't see that very much nowadays. Anyway, I think it's the genuine love of music, right? And to have decades of success, it can't be about the money or the fame. It's about putting in that hard effort and loving what you're doing, right? The band's been around since the 1940s, isn't it?
The original Oak Ridge Quartet started back then, and we're doing World War II, and the Oak Ridge Boys through the years have maintained an incredible career. And William Lee Golden, our guy with the long beard and hair, joined in 1965, lead singer Dwayne Allen in 66, Richard Sturban, the bass man, and nobody else has one of those but us, in 1972, and myself in 73. So, yes, man, it's about the music. To us, it's about the Oak Ridge Boys, man. It's about that thing that is the Oak Ridge Boys. It's like our mantra is, let's go sing. And we've been lucky enough to have all these years of success, and God's blessed us with good health. And, you know, and everybody's still singing good. You know, if we weren't singing good anymore, I think we may have to rethink things. But
yeah. So then I've got
like I wrote in a book I wrote about the group this year called On the Road with the Oak Ridge Boys. I wrote in the book that it will be God that will tell us when to stop, man. We're loving what we're doing. I'm so thankful to be in a group with good guys and progressive thinking guys, forward thinking guys, always trying to make it better than it was the year before instead of trying to decide how to slow it down or stop it. It's how do we do it better? And it's always been that way here. And I just feel really fortunate to be in a group like this.
What is it that keeps you going? 40-something years. It's the love of the music and the people you're doing it with, right?
I think it's both those things, yes. And it's, I think even here lately, more so than ever, to a man. I mean, you know, it only takes one guy to bring a group down, man, or to stop it. It only takes one. All of our guys are, like I say, there's no quitting anybody. And I think our thing now is, gosh, we just don't want to see this legacy end. It's been such an incredible ride, and the fact that people still are coming out to hear us sing, selling out big buildings every night to hear us sing, and the fact that we can still do it, I mean, if you can still do it, why not do it? And I guess that's how we feel about it.
So where does the group go from here then? You've got a tour. I know that you just, there was the new album, I guess it was last year, Rock of Ages. Where, you know, how do you outdo yourself? Do you top that, or you just sort of enjoy the ride?
It's hard for me to think about topping last year with the Country Music Hall of Fame and several other incredible events that happened last year. I don't know how to top it. But this year, we're going to end up playing 150 dates on the Celebration Tour. We're going to record a new album this year. We're going to record a new Christmas album as well this year. So that's 2 new projects that we've got in the works. And we're going to go out there and be on the road a lot. And, like I say, everybody's feeling good about it. So you just keep singing and try to make the best out of every single night. That's what we're pretty much all about.
I'm tired just hearing about it, and I just sit and talk all day, and you have the energy to do these shows. That's incredible.
Well, it is. And again, I got to give the Lord the praise for this stuff, man, because it's the health. It's good health, man. I mean, we're very fortunate that at our age, everybody's feeling good, and like I say, singing good. That's very, very important, because if you weren't doing that, then you couldn't do it. And we realize we're not the young kids on the block anymore, man. We've got 3 guys in their 70s, and me, I'm bringing up the rear in my late 60s. When some guy says on Twitter the other day, man, Oak Ridge Boys, aren't they old guys? Yeah, we are. Facts are facts, but we're still out there singing, like I say, and doing well. So, if people want to learn about how we did it, pick up that book, On the Road with the Oak Ridge Boys. I think they'll get a kick out of it.
Well, and I know that, it seems like country music fans are lifelong fans, and a lot of times that's handed down in families, right? I remember growing up, and, my grandparents, we listened to country music, and I love it now, too. And what's interesting, we had Kenny Rogers on our show last fall. We actually did an interview in his dressing room before a concert, and, he went out on stage, he was trying, God bless him, stumbled across the lyrics at some points, but the audience just loved every minute of it, right? There was no criticism that, he's old, like you're saying. It was just, they loved him, they didn't care.
Well, you're right. There's a dedication here. And, the Oak Ridge Boys, our crowd has skewed a little older, as we have. But the kids are still out there. I challenge kids sometimes. I'll see kids sitting in the front row, young country music crowd kind of kids that maybe have either come out to hear us because out of curiosity, because they're new country fans, and they want to learn the history, or their grandparents had the 8-track in the pickup truck. Man, it's one way or the other.
Yeah.
And I've seen kids out there that are singing our songs and knowing the words, and I'll say, "Hey, man, you're too young to know Leaving Louisiana in the broad daylight." And they'll say, "Yeah, but man, our parents loved you guys, or my granddad loved you guys." So they were like passed down like an old shirt, I guess. I think Kenny Rogers is in the same boat. I think his fans have been passed down. I think people have passed us down. And to have that kind of love out there is something you can't put a price tag on.
We had the station wagon, not the pickup truck, just to be clear.
Thank you. Was there wood on the side?
Yes, the wood paneling. You got it. That's right. With the tailgate and everything. Yeah. But so over the years, though, I mean, there's been a whole bunch of people that have come and gone from the group. As you said, you've been since the 70s with the group. Is it difficult? And I'm going to use the word replace because you do fill a gap when somebody leaves. To me, it seems like anybody new would have to mesh very, very well with the group. As you say, you guys are solid and strong still because you have a style, you have a sound. But bringing somebody new into the group, how do you deal with that? How do you pick the right person?
Well, we haven't had to do that in decades, so
yeah.
We're okay. But I would say that right now, at this point in our career, if something happened to one of the guys, we'd all like to think we'd go on with somebody new. I wrote in the book, in fact, I like to think that if something happened to me, that the guys would find another guy like me and keep on going. But in my position, if something happened to one of those 3, I don't know that I'd want to go on, to be honest. That may spell the end. That may be it. I don't know. In this day and age, with the group like we are now, and now we have been, and with the Hall of Fame and everything else, it's hard for me to picture somebody else in here singing. I like to think we'd go on because this group, as you indicated, has always gone on. We've always figured out a way to make it happen and to go on. And I like to think that would happen. Maybe someday there'll be 4 young guys out there being the Oak Ridge Boys and carrying the name on and with a new sound and a new idea, but still being within the Oak Ridge Boys umbrella. I may own that. I may own part of that group, and they may be out there singing while I'm sitting home picking banjo and getting a check. That'd be nice.
That'd be the life.
But man, to be honest, I can't. It's hard for me to picture that happening.
Yeah. So when you guys, you get huge reactions for some of your songs. Now, I've heard from other artists and groups that the reaction from crowds is different depending on where you're playing, whether it's a different city, country. So what song gets the biggest reaction when you perform?
Well, for us, it's got to be Elvira, man. Everybody
Yeah.
knows Elvira, no matter what age it seems they are, and no matter where they're from or where they live. Elvira's it. The whole audience sings Elvira with the Oak Ridge Boys. They stand up at the end as if it was the Hallelujah chorus or something. we've had 55 charted hit records, and a lot of them number ones, top fives, or top tens. Elvira's still the song that took the Oak Ridge Boys in 1981 from being a well-known country music group to a household name. And it has not let up over these years, man. People love Elvira. That's the song. It don't matter what we do. When we do Elvira, it's the biggest response. It's it. We were walking through the Phoenix airport, man, just a week ago, and all four of us walking together, and bunch of guys walking by us. They all went, "Hey, man, Elvira, man, oh, Papa Mau, Oak Ridge Boys, yeah." So, I mean, there it is. We're stuck with it, and it's a cool thing. It's a lot of fun to sing that song every night because of that kind of response. People say, "Oh, you must get tired of singing Elvira. You probably sang Papa Mau a gazillion times." Yeah, we have. It's fun every night. I mean, when you hit that intro and I go, "Let's sing Elvira," and the whole place stands up, I mean, that's kind of cool. I'll take it.
Oh, for sure. Now, I gotta ask, though, because I always love at concerts when, there's that song that everybody's waiting for. Do you guys leave it to the last minute? Do you, is that the last song? Did you leave the stage for the encore and then come back and that's your final one? Do you ever tease the crowd?
Maybe a little, but no, not with that. We do Elvira just about last, and then they always want to hear something else after, so then we do Bobby Sue. It's a nice 1-2 punch. We've tried different things, but nothing works as good as Elvira, Bobby Sue back-to-back at the end of a show. It just doesn't. And if they really want more after that, we may come out and do Amazing Grace a cappella.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's just a big gear on them.
Oh, yeah. So, I've got to ask, now, I've never written music before, and I can't really sing, so I'm not asking for myself here, but I got to ask, what would you suggest to someone, maybe these aspiring artists that we see posting videos on YouTube, you've seen them, I'm sure, singing, what would you tell them? What should they know about the music industry?
Well, I think what they should know is that if they've got real talent, I mean, if they are really good, if they're moving people with what they're doing, then they've got a future. If you're not moving anybody, believe me, there's 200 other acts out there that maybe are. So maybe you should consider something else. But if people really have a dream and a love and a desire, I think you follow your dream, man. You keep at it. But again, you've got to see some proof in the pudding. You're all putting a stone on a mountain every single day. Everything you do is a stone on a mountain that becomes you and your career. If your mother, like little Joey here growing up in Philly, every time Mommy said, "Get up and sing one for the neighbors, Joey," you're putting a little pebble on the mountain, man. Every time you do it. And if you got up and sang for the neighbors and they loved it, maybe you've got something. But you've got to be able to move them, man. You've got to move them emotionally some way or another, whether it's just happy or if you move their heart, if you touch their heart with something. It's just important that you communicate with the people with your music. And if you can't communicate it, if nobody's getting off on it, then you got to consider something else. But if they're enjoying it, if your friends and your family and everybody's going, "My gosh, that's really good," or somebody says, "Man, I'm moved by what you do," then I think you stay the course. You keep putting stones on the mountain and and follow your dreams.
Yeah. Now, I know you also do love writing, not only music, but books. You're an author. A kid's book, too, right?
I've written 10 books over all of these years, and I wrote some children's books called the Molly the Cat book series, which was very successful for Ideal's children's books in the 90s. My biggest selling book ever was a book called G.I. Joe and Lily, which was about my World War II parents. And a lot of people identified with that book because it was very meaningful. And you can find all these books at Amazon. But my latest, On the Road with the Oak Ridge Boys, very close to my heart. It's like I say, I write about how this group does what it does, how we've done what we've done. I try to attack all those things that people wonder about. And there's some good stories in there. It's funny. It's also very spiritual. And I think if you love the music industry, you will love this book. If you want to learn things about music, you'll love this book. If you love the Oak Ridge Boys, you'll really love the book because it's an Oak Ridge Boy book, let's face it. It's called On the Road with the Oak Ridge Boys by Joseph S. Bonzel. That's my writing name. And if people go to Amazon, put it in a search, like I say, they'll get it. And it's a cool little book. It's a cool little ride. And right now I'm working on a new book, another cat book of sorts. I don't really know for sure where I'm going with it, or even if I have a publisher for it. It's really kind of bizarre, and maybe someday we'll talk about it. I think I maybe flipped my lid.
But what's great,
my own daughter told me the other day, she read some of this book. It's called The Country Music Cats. And she said, "Dad, you've either totally lost it or you've got a piece of genius here. I don't know which, to be honest."
You've got several cats, though, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I'm a cat guy, man. We've got a house full of cats. We always have had. And, I love the feline. I love the cat. I think they're an amazing creature. And I enjoy being around them. I don't know that they love me as much. They really seem to love my wife more, but that's typical.
That's always
I
the
come
case.
home from a road trip, and the cats look at me like, and you're here, why?
Who's this
But
guy?
yeah, I'm a cat guy.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So we can check out all the information about the tour, album, everything on the band's website, right?
OakRidgeBoys.com. It's kind of the portal to everything. Yes, sir. They can follow us on Twitter at Oak Ridge Boys, all one word, or they can follow me at Joe Bonsall, JoeBonsall.
Well, Music Royalty, I'm going to say it, Music Royalty. Joe Bonsall, thanks so much for joining us, and it's been great chatting with you today.
Thank you, Jeremy. It's an honor to talk to you, man. Thank you.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 14security.com. That's the number 14security.com. 14security.com. Go to 14security.com.
Celeb spotting on the Scribble.
Exile has been rocking the concert stage for decades, and the guys aren't showing any signs of slowing down, although maybe I should ask Marlon, who is joining us on the line from Exile. Hey, Marlon.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
So I got to ask, at the top of the segment here, I just said that you're showing no signs of slowing down. Though, what's the verdict? Are you guys slowing down, or you're still rocking pretty hard?
Well, the band has been around for 53 years.
Yeah.
And, of course, we always joke that we were 2 years old when we started. So we're a little older guys. And I'll have to say, yeah, I mean, physically we're slowing down. And we don't, in our heyday, I guess you could say, we might be out maybe 250, 300 days a year. Thank God we don't have to do that anymore. So we're, I guess, in a sense, slowing down, but not really. We'll probably do, I'm guessing, maybe 50, 60, maybe 70 dates this year. So, luckily, we're all still around, what we call the original five members. We're the guys who played on all the records throughout the years and toured, and we're all, so far, in good health, and so we're still at it. We're working at it as hard as we can at our age, let me put it that way.
So I got to ask you, we just had one of your friends, Joe, from the Oak Ridge Boys, just actually a few minutes ago, and I asked him, and I'm going to ask you the same thing, what is it that keeps you going after all these years, after all these decades?
Well, by the way, I'll have to say, the Oaks are some of our favorite guys. When we first broke into country music back in the 80s, we did a lot of touring with the Oak Ridge Boys, and they treated us just like family, and they're some of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and they still are. And we unfortunately don't get to work much together anymore, but it's always good to see and hear the guys. I think it's pretty obvious. It's because we love what we're doing. There's nothing else I would frankly want to do. Nothing. And at various points in my life, I have done other things other than play music, even though I've always played music throughout whatever career I've had. So it's just a lot of being on stage together. I can't say that we enjoy a lot of the long travel and the bus trips and all that sort of stuff. That gets a little old. But when we get on stage, it's always fun. I can't remember any night that I haven't enjoyed being on stage. So I think that's the thing. It's just the enjoyment of the music.
For sure. So let's rewind a little bit. So the group was previously called The Exiles, right?
It was. In the very early incarnation, in the 60s, the group changed its name. I'm trying to think what year. Early 70s, around 1970 or so. So it was just the first few years it was called The Exiles. Then it changed to Exile.
But then you saw the group performing. It was on a Dick Clark show, right?
Yeah, that's right. We all started. We're all from the same little towns in Kentucky. A few miles from each other, and we sort of knew each other. I wasn't one of the guys that started the band, but I was in another band in another city, and I don't know, it was around '66 or so maybe. Back in those days, they had what was called the Dick Clark Caravan of Stars, and it was a whole bunch of artists, maybe 15 or 20 artists who toured around the country, usually during the summer, and played shows. And the group The Exiles was hired for one of those shows. They were kind of the opening act, and then they actually played behind all the solo artists. So I saw the group. It was probably the first what I call really big concert I ever saw. It was in Lexington, Kentucky, and I remember just being really impressed with the band, and really had no idea that not too many years later I'd be part of that band and be out touring myself. So it was one of those odd things that I'll always remember. Basically,
we always hear once artists or groups have made it big, that I saw so and so when I was a kid and idolized them, and now I perform with them, and the Grand Ole Opry or whatever it is. Did you have any idea what you were getting yourself into when you all of a sudden you saw them and now you're in the group years later?
Well, at some points I might have said, "What the heck am I getting myself into?" But I think I did know what I was getting myself into. I've always wanted to be a musician, be an entertainer, and I think, of course, a lot of people don't realize that it's hard work, and we spent a lot of years basically pretty much starving. I mean, just barely getting by, so it's. I think I knew what I was getting into, and I kind of had an idea that it would be hard, but I've never really. I don't think I ever considered just quitting playing altogether. There's no point in my life where I've ever done that.
Well, like you say, because you had that genuine love of the music and doing the job, that's probably what kept you going, I imagine.
Yeah, and it is a job. I mean, there's the business end of it. Which when you're young, you don't really think too much about that. You're just interested in playing and having fun and meeting girls and all that sort of stuff. But at a certain point in the band's career, we started approaching it as a business, and we still do, and obviously always will. I think it's important to young artists that you have to look at it as a business and figure out what works, what doesn't. Don't throw your money away like a lot of us did, at certain points, and just approach it like any other business.
Let's talk about the business then. What has surprised you most about the music industry then? Is it what you expected?
I think back in our heyday, it was in the late 70s, early 80s. If I may be blunt, it was more about the music back then. I think, unfortunately, now the music business is more about the business. I honestly wouldn't want to be a young artist starting out today, because it's just a wholly different thing. You really have to get used to disappointment and being turned down, because I don't know how many record companies we were turned down by over the years. I think you just have to kind of have a thick skin, and if you really believe in yourself, just keep plugging away. You might not make it, but I think if you give it your best effort, that's all you can do. Just give it all you have, and if that works, great. If it doesn't, I guess go to Plan B if you have one.
Now it did work for you guys, and there was a moment that I believe it was with the Ridge Boys, if I'm not mistaken, the Big Bag O' Cash. You know that story I'm talking about?
I know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't know if Joe mentioned it because Joe was involved in that.
Yeah.
Joe and Dwayne, it's one of those odd stories. As I say, they're great guys. We just love touring with them, and we toured over the summer, and I remember Joe saying, he said, you guys are probably making us about an extra $5,000 or so a night, just because you're on the show. And I don't know why they did this, but we were in Louisville, Kentucky, backstage, and we were in our dressing room hanging out, and Joe and Dwayne walked in, and they had a big pillowcase, and I don't remember exactly what they said. They said something like, guys, we said you'd make us an extra $5,000 or so a night, so here's your bonus for the tour. And they opened the pillowcase and threw it around the room, and it was full of dollar bills. There were $5,000 $1 bills, and it basically just kind of went all over the dressing room. Of course, we were all laughing and carrying on, and then a couple of our crew members weren't real happy because they had to pick it all up and go put it in the bank or whatever. But that's the kind of guys they are. They're just very generous and very, very fun-loving guys. So yeah, we had a lot of, I shouldn't say this, but I guess in the old days, if we'd gone to strip bars, we'd been in good shape. We had a bunch of dollar bills.
You've been very popular there.
It's little kind of silly moments like that through the years you think about, and I'll have to say in 53 years of music, I look back on, we don't have that many more years to go, hopefully a few more, but I look back on it with a really good feeling. I mean, it's been a great life. I couldn't ask for anything better, and I think we're very blessed at our age to still be able to go out and make a living looking forward to going out and work every day. There's a lot worse jobs than being a musician.
So, you say hopefully a few more years. Is there a talk of a new album and new music on the horizon, or just kind of enjoying the ride and touring still?
Well, we're definitely enjoying the ride, and we're actually stepping up our touring this year. We just signed with a new booking agent and with a new publicist, and we just put out our first few dates on tour on our website, but we're adding more literally every day. So we're going to have a busy year. We just at the end of last year, we just finished a Christmas CD, which oddly enough is the first one we've ever done in 50 years. And there's no reason, we just never got around to it. So we got that finished. It was very limited release last Christmas, so we've got that in the can, and that's going to be hopefully a big release, towards the end of next year. We've got some more stuff that we have recorded, maybe half a dozen songs or so, that we haven't quite figured out what to do with. We're thinking about maybe releasing another EP or a CD of newer stuff, because the guys in the band who still write. We still write a lot of music and have some new stuff in the can. And so, if the opportunity presents itself, we might have some new material out sometime this year.
But so all of the dates and all the news and everything is on the band's website, right? The concert dates, the tour, all that stuff?
Yeah, and actually, thanks for mentioning that. We've got a website, and it's really easy to remember. It's exile.biz, B-I-Z, exile.biz. We have all our tour dates, and we try to keep those updated about once a week. As I say, this time of year, I think we've got maybe, 20 or so, 20, 25 dates already listed, but we're literally adding them every day. So, but throughout the year, you can always go there to see where we're going to be. We also have a Facebook page, which really we kind of keep it a little more. We do something on it every day, and the Facebook page is called Exile Band Official. Exile Band Official, and we have stuff on there just about every day. And for example, wherever we're going to be this week, we'll do a little more in-depth description of that venue and try to put pictures from every show on there. So between our Facebook page and our website, you should be able to keep up pretty much with what we're doing, throughout the year.
For sure. All right, so we're going to keep in touch on the band's website. You said exile.biz, right?
That's absolutely correct, and Facebook is called Exile Band Official.
All right, well, we'll be sure to check it out. Marlon Hargis, thanks so much for joining us, and I'm sure we'll see you on the road pretty soon.
All right, thanks, Jerry. It's good to talk to you, and hello to all our fans, wherever you might be.
All right, thanks so much for your time today.
All right, thank you.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your mind